Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics on Channels Television. I'm Kayode Kikulu here in Lagos, and these are the major political stories making the rounds at this hour. And we start with the People's Democratic Party, PDP, where the disciplinary committee has recommended the expulsion of the party's embattled National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, from the party. Well, that committee is led by the man you see, Chief Ikimi. And after a month in suspension, Edo State government recalls the Attorney General, Samson Asagi, following allegations of grave official and financial infraction, which have now been investigated, and he's been discharged of them. Is it a time of more political alignments? The Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Mr. Peter Obi, meets with Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad of the People's Democratic Party. Again, is there an alliance in the works? We'll find out. We'll begin in Edo State, South Nigeria, where the government has recalled the state's Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Samson Asagi, from suspension and asked him to resume duties effective March the 12th. This year, of course, a little over a month after he was suspended. A statement from the Secretary to the State Government, Umar Kilo, issued yesterday disclosed that the recall follows the exoneration of Mr. Asagi from allegations of grave official and financial infractions by the investigative committee set up to look into the claims. In February, Mr. Asagi and another appointee, the chairman of the Edo State Local Government Commission, Damian Lawani, were suspended on the same day, that's February the 5th, pending the conclusion of investigation into the allegations levied against the duo. The notice now, however, mentioned the content of the investigative committee's report regarding the chairman of the Local Government Commission, Mr. Damian Lawani. So Mr. Asagi is expected to resume effective from yesterday. That's March the 12th. Well, staying in the state, members of the People's Democratic Party are raising serious concerns over what they describe as rising insecurity in Edo State, and they are asking the state governor to be alive to his responsibilities as the chief security officer. Speaking at a news conference in Abuja, the convener of the PDP Action Group in Edo State alleges that at least 40 residents of Edo State have been killed, with several others missing in the last 3 months alone, forcing the shutdown of many businesses.
This year alone, almost 40 Edo citizens and residents have been killed. Several others have been kidnapped and still haven't been found by their families or the police. Just last week, a young lady by name Uyi Ebohon was kidnapped in her home in Ekpoma, and her whereabouts is still unknown. It is the responsibility of governments to protect and secure the people in the state, and that is why we are requesting that the Edo State government, as presently constituted, should rise up to the responsibility to secure Edo people. And we're saying this because in the last administration, Edo was adjudged to be one of the safest states in Nigeria for a reason. Government was committed and dedicated to securing the lives and property of the people by taking decisive actions, where technology was used to monitor the movement of these herders and to reduce criminality by a great percentage. So how is it then that in just 3 months, most of the infrastructure that was used by the previous governments have been destroyed or relegated, and now we're seeing a spike in the killings of Edo people?
And over to the PDP at the national level, the Tom Ikimi-led disciplinary committee has recommended the expulsion of the party's embattled National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu, from the party. A letter signed by Mr. Ikimi on March the 10th, which was received by the office of the PDP Acting National Chairman, Umar Damagum, just yesterday revealed that despite being given the opportunity, Senator Anyanwu failed to appear before the committee to defend himself against a petition filed by the PDP Young Generation Caucus. The petitioner had accused Mr. Anyanwu of engaging in anti-party activities contrary to the provisions of Article 58 1F of the PDP Constitution. The petitioner also accused him of engaging in conduct likely to disrupt the peaceful, lawful, and efficient conduct of the business of the party, contrary to provisions of article of the PDP Constitution, by inviting security agents and other persons and thugs to interfere in the ordinary business of the party at the headquarters on January the 29th and February the 1st. Having submitted their recommendations, the National Executive Committee of the party is expected to take the final decision on the matter. Staying with that matter, staff of the People's Democratic Party clashed with thugs and some loyalists of the embattled National Secretary, Mr. Samuel Anyanwu, yesterday. The scuffle began when some members supporting Mr. Anyanwu came into the premises of the party and tried to lock out some members of the National Working Committee who were resuming for their usual midweek meeting. The development led to the deployment of more security personnel to prevent further breakdown of the law, paving the way for members of the National Working Committee to hold their meeting. And away from the People's Democratic Party to the Social Democratic Party, SDP, this time in Kogi State, where there's brewing conflict in the party over a state congress and who the chairman and leaders of the party are. Is it Mr. Moses Oricha or Honorable Ahmed Atta? Well, first, let's tell you that Mr. Oricha had described the party's state congress, which held on Wednesday, by those who described as some aggrieved members as criminal, illegal, null, void, and futile. He dismissed the organizers of the purported Congress as faceless. And according to him, he says his tenure as chairman of the Social Democratic Party in Kogi State and others in the leadership will expire in April 2026. He says he wonders why the rush to conduct what he calls an illegal Congress. Meanwhile, the other group in the party which conducted the Congress described Mr. Oricha as a suspended former chairman of the party, saying he was duly suspended and subsequently lost his position within the party and has no legal or moral standing to speak on behalf of the SDP or question the legitimacy of the recent Congress held in Lokoja on March the 12th. So let's get some more insight. That statement, by the way, which I just read, was signed by Mr. Isaiah Davis Ejele, the Press Secretary, SDP Kogi State Chapter, and he joins us virtually on the program this afternoon. You're welcome to Lunchtime Politics. Thank you for joining us. So what we're seeing play out is quite different from what you expected after former governor of Kaduna State joined the SDP. A lot of people thought, well, the swelling in your ranks would at least mean that everybody will join ranks and say, now is the time to build your party. But what we're seeing play out in Kogi State is different from that. So speak to us. Well, he says on the one hand, INEC did not attend that state congress. So I want you to speak to that. Was INEC at that event?
Thank you very much. You see, ordinarily, we wouldn't have responded to Oricha Moses. No, just the record to set the record straight. You see, Oricha has been suspended immediately after the 2023 general election in Kogi State. And after him, we had the deputy governor to Muriden Abenemi as an interim committee chairman of the state SDP. Then to the Congress that was held, sanctioned and was held yesterday by the national chairman of the party, the person of Alhaji Shehu Khan. Now, where is Oricha coming from? Somebody that has been suspended over a year ago is not claiming the chairman. In fact, he is the criminal. He should be arrested for impersonation.
Well, Mr. Ejele, I have to come in here and ask that you temper your words. so we can just speak to the issues and not denigrate or defame anybody's character. So I'll appreciate, without calling names or using those terms, just speak to the issues. Thank you.
He defamed our character by calling us criminals.
Not on this platform, so we'll not take that on this platform. Maybe on another platform, but on this platform, we'll stick to the issues.
Now he has no moral standard to even question the legitimacy of the Congress. Attended by all the parties' executive. It was attended by all the party executive. It was attended by the National Working Committee. It was attended by INEC, were duly informed, and every necessary organs of the party. So we didn't act illegal. There was nothing like illegal conduction of Congress. So I want to ask him to give us his office. Where is he operating from? Is he operating from the bush? Is he operating from his parlor? We had a Congress in the secretariat, the state secretariat of SDP in Lokoja, with a lot of, with representatives from all the local government, with all the delegates from all the local government. So where was his own Congress head, or who recognized him as a state chairman? Listen to this. When a party is taking a shape to a new level, of course, you see those elements of people who will be sponsored by the state. These are the kind of people that Bello used and Ododo used during the election. But they couldn't stand the test of time because we had the people, we had the grassroots, we were on ground. So they couldn't penetrate all their evil plot. Now, he can't match the energy, the integrity of Ahmedi Atta. Ahmedi Atta is now the chairman of SDP Kogi State. There is no two way about it. So all the claims, all the allegations are all false, and we had our Congress in line with the constitution of the party, in constitution of SDP, in line with the national chairman of the party, with the working committee of the party, with the secretary of the party in Kogi State. So please, I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh, yes. I was just going to be clear on the participation of INEC. Did you say that INEC was at that Congress yesterday?
We wouldn't have had any Congress without inviting INEC. And Orisha saying he sent a letter to INEC not to attend is laughable.
Pardon me. I just need to be clear. You invited INEC. Quite all right. Did INEC show up?
INEC was in that Congress, and reports were duly submitted also. So it is, we have never done anything illegal. It was held at the secretary of the SDP.
All right. Just before I move on to my next question, just to be clear, who represented INEC at that Congress? Who was the representative of INEC?
I cannot recall the name, but who will provide you with all the details after now.
All right. So just to lay all the facts out there. Well, he also said that there's a pending case before a court of competent jurisdiction, and he says that this is a violation of that whole process. How do you speak to that?
There is no violation. Listen to this, Mr. Kayode. Every party has their internal mechanisms and procedures for conducting Congress, which the Congress head yesterday have passed through all those processes. Now, Oricha, as a person, cannot question the legitimacy of such Congress. If he has anything, in fact, when we talk about the court, he was suspended as a result of anti-party activities. SDP is not like other parties where they condone anti-party activities. He was suspended for over a year ago. And the issue of being in court or not in court is not what we are talking about here. He is no longer the chairman of SDP, and he knows it. So in fact, the interim chairman of the SDP was the person of Sam Abenemi, even before now, who has held the position over 1 year before they emerged of Ahmedi Atta yesterday as elected chairman of SDP Kogi State. So the person we are talking about, Oricha Moses, is nowhere to be found. He has never been in the picture. He has never been in the picture. In fact, after the incident of his anti-party activities, he has been seen in several occasions with the APC in the state. He has joined other party, and you cannot be in Sokoto claiming to be in Jos at the same time. You cannot be a governor of Kogi State and claiming the same time the governor of River State. It's not possible. Oricha is nowhere to be found. As a matter of fact, there is no crisis in Kogi State at all. What happened is freedom of speech. If without the freedom of speech, I don't think you will have access to media. They are just running to media because, of course, they are being sponsored by the opposition to tarnish the integrity and image of the SDP in Kogi State.
All right.
But we are being led and by Alhaji Murtala Yakubu Ajaka. You know the fact what will happen in the last election. We know how we gave them the run of their life. You know how what the victory of SDP, even in INEC documentation, only being jettisoned on the altars and of technicalities as invented fraudulently by the judges. And I stand to be corrected. We won that election, and by the record, if Beavers was put to test in
again,
that judgment,
Mr. Ejele, I'll need you to be temperate with your words. I mean, those are very weighty allegations against the judiciary, and we at Channels Television will not take that, except you have proof to back that up. But please, I'd like you to speak to the issues and not denigrate the judiciary on that one. So if you have a case, absolutely take it to the court or give us evidence, then we can speak from that perspective. I appreciate that. I want you to speak to a deeper issue. You wanted to say something?
Yes, I said Chidoka report was displayed right on this channel television.
Well, except a court has declared the judges or the judiciary in those terms, we can't just take your word for it. That's why we have the institutions of the court. And this is not a court. This is a show, and we deal with fact. But I want you to speak to a deeper issue, right? You hardly look around any political party or any arm of government across board. You find one crisis or the other. Either people laying claim to a position, one single position, or there's a battle between an executive and the legislature, or there's just internal wranglings in political parties. And you find this all across board. It looks like no party is exempted. And I want to ask, as a politician, are you proud of this brand of politics that seems to be pervasive in this part of the world?
I call it lack of confidence, lack of self-confidence in most of those political parties.
No, including yours, Mr. Ejele. Your party is also in question here.
To the suspension of Oricha was as a result of anti-party activities. Get that point. There is no way no party will condone such activities. And that is the reason you see PDP crisis is escalating on daily basis. You cannot be here and be there. It is either you are in APC, or you are in PDP, or you are in SDP, or you are in Labour Party. So once you are found in such activity and suspended, you are suspended. And those are the people that the opposition see as a mechanism, as a tool to be used against the progressive party. And it is very disheartening that the politics in this part of the world, just like you say, is no longer on merit, is no longer on manifesto, is no longer on vision, is no longer on conviction of the people. Let me ask you this time, do you know the fact how many people are being elected truly by their people today? It is laughable, the system we have created in Nigeria. And that is where INEC has to buckle up and to stand up for 2027. Beavers was introduced, and we all the young men of Nigeria, both young men, women, came into the political space with the hope that our election, our thumbprint, our voice will be counted. Unfortunately, that is not what we are saying. And that is why I spoke about the judiciary throwing some of the beavers on technicalities upon technicalities that does not resonate with the truth, with the standing order of beavers. And that is the problem we're having. So if all these things are being corrected, trust me, the bedrock of every democracy is opposition, constructive opposition that will hold the government accountable that will checkmate the activities of the government. We don't have such opposition in Nigeria. Before you do it, before you say Jack, they will go after you. Before you say this, they will go after you.
So it's quite interesting. Right, pardon me. What I want to quickly put in is it's quite interesting because your party, the SDP, just received with pomp and pageantry someone from the ruling party whom you blame for at least the outcome of the previous election because the party is in government, but you received him with pomp and pageantry. Did you maybe pause to ask him why are these issues happening? Because you claim they're responsible anyway for what we saw play out in the previous election.
He said it on the national television and with all his interview that the party has deviated from the original vision and the conviction and the reason for the merger and the vision to make Nigeria a better country.
And that's from 2 years. That's from 2 years ago, not before the election. It was after the election. He said 2 years ago.
But he just left the party, just left the seat as a governor. Do you expect him to criticize, to start anti-party activities while being at the same time being the governor of the same party in the state? He cannot do that. So he has to wait for his tenure to elapse for him to take a decision. And trust me, El-Rufai Malami have been standing as the voice of the people. As you can look at his trajectory as FCT minister. A lot of works, great jobs are being done. And the same thing in Kaduna today. Have you been to Kaduna recently to see El-Rufai as a governor of that state? Let's give it to him. And if there is a conviction now that, look, the party are deviating and from the true vision, he has this right to move. And coming into our fold, glory be to God, because we need such energy, we need such vision, we need such conviction to join with the vision of SDP as a constructive opposition. I don't believe in ranting as an opposition without an element, with a substance of issues. And a lot of issues are going on in the country today that are not being addressed by the current government. Even on the same television that day, the person who came up to criticize El-Rufai forgot that he was a student of the same Malam. He was never elected as a senator until he joined the force and the caucus of Malam El-Rufai when he was a governor. And when he jettisoned the power, that the tools and the mechanism that brought him into power as a senator, he was thrown out. So you cannot be the same person today. If you wanted to, he could have tested his popularity by winning the last election. Then we know that, yeah, he is able, my then Senator Sani has the ability and capacity to undermine the integrity and the capacity of Malam El-Rufai. But he could not win any position after deviating from Malam El-Rufai. So he miscalculated his step. But if you look at the trajectory of Malam El-Rufai, he's a political mathematician. Let me call it that name.
Well, Mr. Ejele,
all his calculations always been true and has always come to pass and has been in all winning party and in winning groups. So
only time will tell. But what always amazes me is how, once you join another party, it looks like your sins are forgiven. All things are passed away. All things have become new. Politicians. But we have to thank you so much. We'll be speaking with Mr. Isaiah Davis Ejele, who's press secretary of the SDP Kogi State Chapter. You can hear him speaking passionately about the latest signing to his party. This is a story we're following, and of course, be getting back to you in the coming days in case anything changes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it looks like it's time, or it's the season for political alignments, meetings here and there. But is there something in the offing, particularly as the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Peter Obi, is meeting with the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Muhammad, of the People's Democratic Party, at the Ramat House in Bauchi, and then you see Mr. Obi arriving for that meeting with Mr. Bala Muhammad. Well, the purpose of the visit has not been disclosed just yet, and both Mr. Obi and the governor are engaged in a closed-door discussion and expected to address journalists after they conclude their talks. But this has, of course, raised eyebrows with people questioning what may be in the offing. Is there room for some possible alliance? Well, Channels Television is at that venue and we'll be bringing you all of the updates as they come in from that meeting between Mr. Peter Obi and Governor Bala Muhammad of Bauchi State. Let's bring you more now on Rivers State politics. Yesterday was a very eventful day in Rivers State, and even outside of Rivers State, with all of the political players talking, speaking, making moves. But let's begin with the governor, Fubara, who says no power is permanent as political tensions continue to grip the state. He was speaking at the commissioning of the Bori Zonal Hospital in Kana local government area, where he affirmed his commitment to prioritizing the interests of the people amid the ongoing crisis involving the Rivers State House of Assembly. But he says that he's ready to represent the budget, and he says despite sending WhatsApp messages and making direct efforts to establish contact, he was denied access to the Assembly complex. But he says he's willing to go back.
But it was unfortunate when we got there this morning. We were denied access, and the next story I'm hearing is that we didn't make any communication. But I leave it to God, who sees in secret places. I did everything to make sure that that situation was sorted out today. But I still believe maybe they might be instructed later. Maybe if they are instructed, I'm still ready to come any day to get this particular issue sorted out.
Well, there's more from River State as the Ijaw Youth Congress, that's IYC Eastern Zone, has raised the alarm over an alleged plan by the River State House of Assembly, led by Martin Amiwule, to impeach Governor Fubara. After stakeholders meeting, IYC Eastern Zone Chairman, Comrade Ibiso Harry, accused the former governor and current FCT minister of what he describes as orchestration of a political turmoil in the state. And he alleged that the former governor, through his allies, are behind efforts to remove Governor Fubara. Here's what he says.
The IYC Eastern Zone, as a law-abiding group, make the following declaration: that we shall resist every attempt by the planners to impeach Governor Fubara until he has served out his 2 tenures of 8 years, as his predecessors did. That we appreciate the intervention of President Bala Muhammad Tinubu since the beginning of the political crisis, and we urge him to do more. Finally, we declare our unalloyed support with those of well-meaning groups across the state for Governor Fubara to serve his 2 tenures of 8 years. The most priority of the state is the people of Rivers State. Every other thing is secondary. So therefore, we feel the information we have seen on social media, where 1 or 2 of our assembly members have made it known that if the governor does not implement the Supreme Court judgment, they will find every means of going through the impeachment process. That is why we are resisting it. Thank you.
Well, it looks like the intrigues continue, but that's where we anchor on the show for today. Thank you for watching. I'm Kayode Okikilo, and stay with Channels Television for all your breaking and political stories. Goodbye.